it going?
Yeah, it's going.
Oh! Hi, I'm Epic with Premium Fontent. Today we are going to be going over the basics of making our fawn leggings, or the fawn insert padding. We do the padding separate from the legs for a couple of different reasons. For me, it is a comfort and cleanliness thing, as well as doing the leggings separate helps to keep the legs in the correct position and stop slouching. The leggings can be washed separately, and therefore you can actually wash your costumes because a lot of fur materials are harder to maintain. For this tutorial, you will need the pattern for the padding that we have provided on our website, cotton material, about a yard to a yard and a half. Any color is going to be fine. If you're using a white fur, I would recommend using a lighter color fabric just in case it sees through, but I personally haven't seen it happening. You will also need a pair of leggings or workout pants. The workout pants benefit is that it keeps you a little bit cooler because it helps keep that sweat wicked off your body. A sewing machine or a needle and thread, a pair of scissors. You will need cotton or stuffing polyfill. You will also need saran wrap and duct tape. Marker. And a marker. So what we're doing at this stage is I've gone ahead and used my saran wrap to coat this, and I'm using the saran wrap just to protect the foam so that I can use it again and again, because if you leave the duct tape on the saran wrap for too long, if you leave the duct tape on the foam for too long, your foam will start to peel off with your tape and you'll leave holes in it. So, and the saran wrap also helps it easier to remove your pattern when you're finished. So that's what we're doing here. We're making a pattern to sew onto your leggings. So now we have our duct tape form here, but we need to make this into an actual pattern. So what I'm going to do is draw our seam lines onto our form, a lot like what we did with the actual making from the duct tape dummy. Anything that's got a curve, you want to make sure to put a line across there, or a dart across there. Go all the way around this edge here, because I really only need the front half of this right now, so all this I don't really need. If you want to do just the pillow inserts into your legs, and you're going to use this complete pattern, you will need the back. we've got all of our seam lines drawn onto there, we're going to go ahead and release our form from the mold. You can also use a box cutter for this part. You will most likely cut your foam. It'll lift. And release. That was much easier than pulling duct tape off, and now you don't have to line all this because it's already lined. Now we're going to cut our darts open here. Open. You just want to make sure that this pattern piece lays flat, like a piece of paper. I'm going to need another dart here. Beautiful. Now this was for our thigh piece. We're going to do the same thing with our calf piece. So then on the end, we're going to have two pattern pieces. And just so I don't make a silly mistake later, I'm going to write that this is the thigh piece, if I can remember how to spell thigh.
I-G-H.
Thigh. Now that we have our pattern pieces, it's time to cut these out of our cotton fabric. You're going to need 2 of each as long as you have 2 legs. Now I've got my cotton fabric laid out. They couldn't see that. I am going to go ahead and start tracing out the pattern on it. I like to add seam allowance while I cut it, rather than while tracing. I think Kelly hates me for it. So I've got one. Time to do the second one. Let's see if we've got enough room over here. cut it out. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting out our pattern. And add I do half an inch-ish.
That is not half an inch. Don't add any seam allowance.
It's not half an inch?
Just go for it. It's fine.
Hi, I work with fur and I do tiny ass seam allowances. Upgrades, people! Repeat that for your other 3 pieces.
Eventually.
Alright, so now I've got my leggings on. They are form-fitting, so when you sew your pads onto them, they're not going to be flopping around anything extra. I chose to do exercise pants over just plain leggings because they're moisture wicking, so they'll be a little bit cooler. I also really appreciate the tight-fitting elastic waistband that'll help your costume from stopping sliding down so frequently. So now from this point, I'm going to take our foam pads from earlier, and in the same position that we made it on the duct tape form, I'm just going to trace around where my padding is going to sit, and that line is where you're going to stitch your pockets onto and then stuff.
And if you have a friend for this part, that's ideal, but we're forcing her to go through it on her own so that you can see what the process looks like solo.
Possible, but not easy. Beautiful. And repeat with your second leg. Oh.
All done?
Yeah. So, don't know if you can see that. You're gonna take a couple straight pins and your appropriate pieces, like I'm working with a thigh piece here. And best you can, match them up and pin them down without stabbing yourself. Maybe you should have grabbed some more. You don't need to be completely thorough with this part. Try not to stab my underwear. It's not working very well. I only want one piece, thank you. Just pin around the majority of it, and then you can go through and more thoroughly pin while it's not on your body. But because it's a stretchy material, this is gonna want to go back to a non-leg shape. So getting down the basics of where it will need to be is helpful during this part. It won't matter if this seam edge is on the outside because your fur is gonna go on top and you're not gonna be able to see it. So no need to make things fancy here.
A few moments later.
So now we've pinned all of our pieces onto our leggings, our pants. We're going to carefully remove them without stabbing ourselves or without moving the pins and move over to the sewing machine or move over to sewing them. So we're gonna do this by hand. So we've got our leg with our padding here. And we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna cut the outside edge of the leg open. I don't wanna cut the inside leg just to avoid adding any extra bulk in that area. I don't need unnecessary fabric tension there. I think I'm gonna do little tally marks on it too so I can add it up to the right spot. So there it is. Not a perfect science.
And you could do this while it's still on you.
You could while it's still on
Might be
you.
easier to remove without displacing the pins.
Possibly. I'm not gonna cut my waistband though, because I do not want to deal with fixing that. I don't want to make a new pair of pants. That's why I bought pants. Those tallies are just gonna help me mark this, put this stretchy fabric back together when we're done. And I'm gonna start at my top here. My pressure foot fell down. I'm going to leave this top corner open so that I have a place to stuff my polyfill in there. And using a zigzag stitch to accommodate for this stretchy material. Gonna go. thigh piece done. Moving on to the calf.
One eternity later.
So now that we've got our padding sewed onto our leggings, we're gonna put our legs back together. So here we've got our leg all pinned back up, ready to make whole again. And we're going to do a very small seam allowance so that our pants do not become too tight on us. Go ahead and stitch them all up using that zigzag stitch. So, got it all attached and stitched back together, all one piece. Now it's time to stuff it, stitch them up. I always fluff my polyfill, especially in this situation. We have scavenged some polyfill from some previous projects that we're not using anymore. And I'm refluffing it so that it's not bunchy and it will look so much better in your legs. So fluffy and go a lot further. Okay. Whee! Okay. So go ahead and stuff away until your pads are as dense as you would like. I like mine firm but not strong. Does that make any sense? I want there to still be some give, especially closer to the joints, so that the padding still moves with me. But I want the weight of the fur to not affect the shape.
Eventually.
And it looks lumpy, but it's really not. The fur will hide it. Thankfully, fur hides most everything, so honestly, it seems pretty good. I think I want to test this out with the legs before stitching up, just to make sure there's nothing else. So we got our stuffed up leggies here. Got my pants, and I am just going to step in kind of carefully, kind of like a pair of pants. Go all the way to the bottom. I like to get my calf in first. Another leg. And oh, that's like perfect. Yes! Do a twirl. Yeah, that's, oh, that's so nice. Do a little more scoop. Sometimes you gotta scoop. Yes. It's perfect. Yeah, can't even see any lumpiness. Oh, it's perfect. Very nice. So now we've got to close up our entrance that we stuffed here. Just going to carefully maneuver this onto the sewing machine. Pardon crotch. Here we go. Alright, continuing with our zigzag stitch. Beautiful. Repeat for your other legs. Alright, so this was the final part of our leg tutorial. We are working on a few more tutorials for you. A couple horns, couple ears, some other miscellaneous fantasy creature stuff, some get ready with me's. Gonna be doing some costume tours for you guys. Yeah, if you wanna leave us some comments. Are they still down there? Leave us some comments about some future material you would like to see. We'd appreciate it. If you've been enjoying this tutorial series, please consider liking and subscribing. We appreciate it so much. It's been a fun adventure with you guys, just enjoying the same type of things together. There's always more fun to come.